ordinary balloon.
What a view!
This is incredible.
An Ontario County nonprofit.
Overlook Horizon high-altitude balloons.
3, 2, 1, launch.
Hey guys, Tori here from Overlook Horizon. We are here. Oh, I gotta update the events list. I forgot to update that from earlier. But we're here, we're live. It looks like we are about 5 minutes or so away from another hop or attempt, or I guess it's the first hop attempt for SpaceX's SN6 prototype Starship rocket. There we go. I just updated that. So we're only about that's a couple minutes fast here. We're a few minutes behind that. But we saw this once already with, there we go. It'll be something like this, a little closer there. So we're gonna pull up the NASA spaceflight stream here to take a look at it and see what's happening here. I'm gonna jump right. Let's see, which one of these do I need? I need this one. This one. There we. Oh no, we need to get rid of the events list. This one. Or is it this one? It's that one. There we go. Or we could do this one and get rid of the events list as well. But anyways, all right, so just want to make sure we got the NASA spaceflight stream up. We're gonna listen in here in a little while, but we're about 5 minutes away from what we think is a hop attempt for Starship's SN6 prototype. This is, I'm hearing myself back here. What am I here? I'm getting feedback. Let's get rid of that. Hold on. This is always the tough bit about trying to track this, is we never really know. Is this better? Yeah, okay. I'm not getting feedback in my ears now. Okay. It's trying to get everything set up and ready to go in such short notice, because we never know when it's going to happen. It's not like they publish a timeline on when this is going to hop. So we just have to go with all the keys and the little things that you track on the video to get an idea on whether or not this is actually going to launch today. So there's been a lot of venting. They tried for an attempt earlier today, then they detanked the rocket, and they are now up and running again for a second time here today. Somebody said the YouTube is not. Uh-oh. I think we got double venting again. That's not good. Double venting would indicate an abort already. That would be quick. Let's listen in for a second here to the NASA spaceflight stream.
Now, so maybe they'll just look into the window to see when, you know.
I think we just saw double venting, which indicates an abort. It is very windy there right now.
That's what somebody said. They're like, oh, what? They're just going to do the same thing again? That's boring.
Yeah, man, I think just as we were going live, just as we were getting ready to start, it looked like we were going to have an attempt here. But it looks like it's already been aborted, because I think we just saw double venting, which would be, there's two vent ports at the top of the rocket up by what would be the methane tank, which is up on top. So the liquid oxygen tank is on the bottom, and the methane tank is up on top. And when they have two vents up there, there's two vent ports, one for each tank, and they're higher up on the rocket, both on the same side, which are basically directly facing this camera, which is what Mary, the Boca Chica gal, has out at Boca Chica right now from NASA space flights. And those two vents are facing directly at the camera, and when those two vents both go at once, usually that's an indication of an abort, and where they're depressurizing and detanking the rocket. Now the question is going to be, at this point, will they be able to recycle quickly, or is it going to be a big abort and another long recycle attempt? So they were going originally at the top of the window, which was 2 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Central. You can see the 3:15 p.m. Central time up there right now. So it was about 2 hours ago that they tried initially. We didn't go live at first because I was waiting for the siren, which is, the siren is the 10-minute indicator that we have 10 minutes to go before the actual hop attempt. They sounded the siren just a few minutes ago, like about 10 minutes ago now, they sounded the siren. And then we went live, and just as we went live, we saw the double venting happening. So, sounds like it's going to abort and be on deck maybe for later. Listening in.
They're trying to refine the launch process and get the flow down.
Oh, they're just talking about why we're doing this here. So, for those of you that have it, let's do a recap here, since it sounds like we're going to have a little bit of time. So let me give you a recap of what's happening, why we're here, what they're doing, and all that kind of stuff. So essentially, this is a prototype of the Starship rocket. It's one of their iterative variations as they build closer and closer to having an orbital version of the Starship rocket, which will eventually launch satellites, launch Starlink satellites, and take people to the moon and to Mars. Now, in order to get there, they've got to... SpaceX does this whole build, test, fail, repeat. Sometimes it's not fail, sometimes it's just refine. But that's kind of the SpaceX methodology while they're building these rockets, is they build them, they make changes, they build them, they test it, then they make changes, and they do the whole thing over again. And so this is what they're doing here. You're seeing the development in process. A lot of people get kind of confused because they're like, oh, this doesn't look so polished. Like, why is SpaceX putting... SpaceX is actually not putting any of this out. These are all just general people and fans, and NASA spaceflight is, you know, they have a professional operation going on down there, but they're in no way affiliated with SpaceX. So they are down there covering this, but this isn't an event that SpaceX is putting on. They're not advertising this and saying like, hey, come watch this. They're just doing their development work. So we had sorry, I was listening in again for a sec. I've got them talking in my ears so I can hear what they're talking about, and I'm trying to talk to you at the same time. But they launched, or launched, I think a little bit of both, the SN5 prototype, which is the one before this. They did that a couple of weeks ago. They go up to about 150 meters. There's about 500 feet in altitude. They go over to the side, which from this perspective is actually away from the camera. So you're not going to really see very much side-to-side movement, because from this camera angle, it's going to go up and then it's going to go sideways, but it's away from the camera. There's a lot of confusion about that the last time. They're going to go up, away from the camera, and then come back down on the landing pad that's adjacent to the launch site here. So that's what we're waiting and we're hoping to see. And essentially what they're doing in this process is refining the launch procedures, refining the fueling procedures, refining the actual rocket itself. So whether it's making structural changes or changes to the landing legs or the thrust puck, which is what holds the engines at the bottom, you know, all those things they're testing to make sure that they can withstand the forces of launch and landing, and even engine gimbling and all that kind of stuff. Engine gimbling, thruster maneuvers, can they control the rocket? Can they land it? Do the landing legs crumple? We saw last time on SN5 that as it set down, it kind of had a little bit of a little bit tilt to it, like it's just a little bit. It looked like maybe one of the landing legs kind of had a crush core or something, then it just crushed down and had just a little bit of a leaning tower of grain silo there. So that could be something that they refine, or maybe that's perfectly normal, and as long as it doesn't collapse, then they're like, okay, that's actually not uncommon for things like the Falcon 9 rocket. There's a crush core in those landing legs, and so if it lands hard, it can actually crush this honeycomb structure and have a little bit of a list to one side. Not a big deal. But we'll have to see. It's tough to tell what exactly they've changed on SN6, but the biggest one that we're looking for is SN8, which is coming up, and that's where they're going to add the additional aerodynamic fins, the nose cone, the front structure, and they're going to go up to the 20-kilometer hop test. This is only 150 meters. SN8 is planned to go to 20 kilometers. That's way up there. So, anyways, let's see. Let me go back. My headphones really bother me today. It keeps getting pulled out here behind me. Let's go see what we have for questions. Will they go for another shot? We should still have plenty of time for another attempt today. So if you missed it at the top of the broadcast, we went live. We had a 10-minute warning from SpaceX. It's actually really a 10-minute warning for the local residents. It's not really for us, but we use that to find out whether or not they're going to launch. We had that 10-minute warning right before I went live. I think I went live at about T-minus 6 minutes or so. And then at T-minus 3 minutes, they aborted. So it was a very quick and right to the point that they've already aborted this attempt. But they got plenty of time to go for another attempt. The window goes until 8 p.m. Central, so they got about 4.5 hours left to attempt. Now, they recycled the last one in about 2 hours, a little less than 2 hours. And so we've still got the possibility for another attempt here today. They can also do faster recycles that are only about 30 minutes in time for a recycle. So they can go, this could be a 30-minute recycle, could be a 2-hour recycle. We don't know. We're going to kind of hang out and we're going to see what's happening with the venting and with the rocket. We can kind of, all we can do really is kind of keep an eye on what's happening with the rocket and with the venting to get kind of cues on what mission control might be doing, because SpaceX does not publish any of this kind of stuff. So it likely it could have been scrubbed due to wind speeds. We don't know. We can take a look. It's actually it's very windy down there right now. So here's our winds right now, and wind speeds down at Boca Chica. These are ground level wind speeds, which is really what we're concerned about because it's only going 150 meters. We're at 18, 20 mile per hour wind speeds here. Winds are moving here. 20, 21. That's a little on the quick side if you're trying to finally control a rocket, especially a prototype one. Let's see. Let me go through some of these comments here. Since you guys all popped in to say hello, even if we are aborted at this point, let's get to some of your comments and let's make this worthy of a hey, how you doing? So we've been just kind of hanging out on Discord today. If you do want to chat on Discord in between, you type ! Discord in the YouTube chat, get a link to our Discord. Or if you want to join the inner circle, I've been playing some Kerbal today, trying to dock 2 starships together, and our Patreons. Our Patreon members have been hanging out with me on our Kerbal Space Program stream while we've been trying to rendezvous and dock 2 starships together. So if you want to join that inner circle, you can become a Patreon member and hang out and get some bonus content, some behind-the-scenes stuff. Patreon.com/OverlookHorizon. Okay. Now that I got all that in, let me go through some of the comments here that I missed. This is part of the experimental process. At least we are aware of it. Thanks for sharing. Thanks, Angel. Appreciate that. As soon as the siren was sounded, the wind picked up really bad. Once the siren sounded, then it's like a mad scramble for me to go live, so I didn't get a chance to see it, but that'd be kind of interesting. I can even zoom out here a little bit so you can get kind of an idea on like what the wind is doing in the area. So you can see there's some stronger winds here on the coast. Little less so inland here, but on the coast it's a little bit strong, right around just under 20 mile per hour winds there. Where? Oh, my chat just jumped all the way to the bottom while I was trying to read some of those. Yeah, it looks like it's being aborted. Yeah, so, I mean, I would stay tuned because we still got plenty of time for another attempt today. They should wait for the evening when the wind dies off a little. They might. I mean, the wind could likely die off a little closer to the evening, so we may have a better chance of success later in the evening here tonight when we get a little bit closer to SOWCOM 1B, which will also be streaming a little bit later. That's got a little more of a refined timeline for actually launching. That has an instantaneous launch window, so it's either happening or it's not happening for SOWCOM 1B. So we've got another YouTube event for later on tonight, and then after SOWCOM 1B, we've got Rocket Lab, which is also tonight. So we've got 3 events happening here today. It was going to be 4, but 3 events happening today. We've got this, SOWCOM 1B later, and then Rocket Lab later. So we could still get our rocket fix in for the day. Plenty of rockets still happening today. Where can I get that shirt? This is this SpaceX shirt is directly from the SpaceX store. It's just spacex.com/shop, I think. Tori's cricket is trying to pull out the earbuds. I got rid of the cricket, thankfully. The cricket's gone. Are you going to stay live for another 4 hours? Probably not. I do have separate events set up, so we won't be live here. Although I will probably, if we don't go today, we'll stick around for a little while, see what's going to happen with the actual rocket itself, see if they go for another attempt. If they do, great, we'll try it. We'll stick around for it. If they don't, we'll probably end this stream. Here's a look from Lab Padre's stream as well, so you can get an idea on what's happening over there. This is a little closer view from Lab Padre. But yeah, if they don't go right now, we'll probably end the stream and we'll come back later if they have another attempt. But the Salcom 1B is definitely on for an attempt. We don't know if it's definitely launching, but it's on for an attempt, and that is that's about 3 hours from now. So we'll definitely be live for another attempt then, and then maybe we get a bonus for... Maybe we'll get this and Salcom 1B at the same time. We don't know. Two different SpaceX teams that are running these two operations. So they could happen at exactly the same time. There's nothing really to stop them from doing that. Clayton says the crushed leg was the first to touch the landing pad, so I think it felt the full weight of SN5 as it came down in an angle. You might be right on that, Clayton. I haven't seen an angle that showed that, although I didn't really analyze it that much in depth, but that seems very plausible. That's from Clayton over on the YouTube chat. Scrubbed already? Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's aborted already. We don't know if it's scrubbed for the day yet. They still have plenty of time to attempt another go at this today. Oh, my chat keeps skipping around while I'm trying to read all this stuff. Trying to go back and get all of these. Hey, Red Scorpion. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate the tip there. Thanks for hanging out with us. He was hanging out with us on the Patreon stream earlier today as I was riding the struggle bus trying to dock two starships together in Kerbal. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. The SN5 hop also took 3 attempts. Yeah, that's true. SN5, there were a couple attempts for SN5 that day. If you weren't here for SN5, we went live 3 times waiting for SN5 to hop. So I try not to go live until the last minute, so that I try to not have this kind of stream where we go live and we're like, hey, we're live, but nothing's happening. I try not to do that if I can, but unfortunately with the Starship development, it is what it is. An abort for weather is always better than a big boom. Yeah, abort is always better than a big boom. Abort for any reason, always better than a big boom. We don't want to see the big boom, it's always possible, especially with Starship prototypes. There's been many booms with the Starship prototype, it's just part of the development. That's why this is testing. You'd rather have the boom now than when you're trying to fly an expensive payload or 400 Starlink satellites or astronauts for that matter. Whole lot of shaking going on. Yeah, it's very windy there. So you can see the shaking here on Lab Padre stream. A little bit of shaking here, but this is Mary, the Boca Chica gal with NASASpaceflight.com that's got a little steadier camera, but not sure how much she's zoomed in. I mean, Lab Padre could be zoomed in a lot, so the further you're zoomed in with the camera, the more that shake is noticeable. Because remember, they have to stay outside of the exclusion zone. You can't get right up next to it with a camera. You gotta have a really long zoom lens to see this. There you go. Fritz says Lab Padre's cam is on a 9-meter tall tower, which makes it hard to completely prevent shaking with that wind and zoom level. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, Lab Padre's is mounted. I think Mary, Boca Chica gal, I think hers is just on a tripod at ground level. That's this camera here. So, Kerbal, wish it ran on Mac. Yeah, I mean, I've never, I'm guessing it doesn't run on Mac? I don't know. I play it on PC. Well, we see a hop today. Well, we don't know. We're not going to see it right now, unfortunately. We had the siren, and it was aborted just minutes afterwards, likely due to the wind, because it is very windy there. Here's our wind map right now showing about 18-mile-per-hour winds. That's just regular constant wind speed. Gusts here sitting at, so we're like 18 gusting to 25-ish, it looks like, miles per hour. I don't know. Can we... I don't know. Somebody's going to have to do some sort of metric conversion there for me. But it's 18 gusting to 25, it looks like, according to Ventu Sky, which could be the reason for our abort. Weasel over on Periscope. What the heck is that? Are they launching a beer can? This is our lovable grain silo, we call it. They're launching a grain silo today. No, essentially, here, let's pull up. Let's get Weasel up to speed, along with anybody else that wants to know what's happening. So, if you follow at Neopork85 on Twitter, he makes some really awesome graphics here of the Starship. But let's see, there's one that he had a while back. This one right here. So, this is also on Marcus House's videos. But this is a look at the interior of the Starship. And what we're seeing is just up to about here. So we got the liquid oxygen tank here. We've got the methane tank here. You got there's a little skirt, and the engines are tucked in there. Here's your landing legs that are, they're tucked into the skirt as well, and they kind of fold out right before landing. We don't, on this SN6 prototype, we do not have these aerodynamic fins here at the bottom. We don't have either of these. And we also don't have the entire nose structure here. So we don't have these fins, obviously. We don't have the nose cone. None of this payload area at all. So essentially what you're seeing, and the reason why it looks like a grain silo, is you're seeing this bottom section right here. Just from the skirt all the way up to the top of the methane tank. And on top of the methane tank is a mass simulator. So that mass simulator, that's this little block here, which is actually like 20 tons of weight there. That big block is a mass simulator that's going to simulate the weight of that entire nose cone structure. So it'd be the nose cone along with, any sort of payload that would potentially be in there. I mean, that'll vary quite a bit, but essentially that mass simulator is just simulating just the nose cone and the structure of everything that's up there. So we should get a prototype that looks much closer to this for SN8, which will be the next, there's an SN7, which will be a pressure tank test. SN8 will be the next full-size vehicle prototype that they're going to try to launch to 20 kilometers to do a much bigger hop. So yeah, that's what you're seeing. There's no fins. There's no nose cone. You're just seeing this part here, which is why it looks very, very boxy and square. So eventually you'll get the fins over here where the COPV tanks are. So you've got the COPV tanks here. There's also some you can kind of see right here on the other side. You'll get COPV, or you'll get the bottom fins there that'll kind of cover those COPV tanks on the side where the little wings will be. Those control surfaces. And then obviously it's going to be much taller with the nose cone. So that gives you an idea on what we're looking at here and why it just looks like a grain silo. King Zenotch over on our Twitch channel says, when's the hop? Well, it was going to be about 20 minutes ago, and then they aborted. So right now we got nothing. We're waiting to see, are they going to do another attempt soon? They could do a 30-minute recycle. They could do an hour recycle. They could do a 2-hour recycle. So we might not have anything for a couple hours, but we're gonna hang out. COPV lung troubles? No, COPV is the composite overwrap pressure vessels. They store the helium gas generally that's in the that they use for backfilling and pressurizing the tanks. As the tanks use their fuel, they repressurize them with helium. They pump those in. So, and you can see a lot of those tanks right here. They also use those for like cold gas thrusters as well. That's where you'll get a lot of the thruster action. I want to see this launch. I know, me too. What's the difference with this hop over the last one? This will be very similar to the last one. It's a different vehicle, but it's essentially going to be a repeat from the last hop. It's the actual hop itself is no different. So it's going to go up to 150 meters. It's going to go away from the camera and land again on the adjacent landing pad there. So it's the overall stance, the overall objective is still the same as the last hop, but internally they're using this to test their build processes. Can they consistently build this vehicle so that it lasts more than just one launch? Was the last time a fluke? Was it lucky that they launched and landed it? Or like, are they actually getting somewhere? They're also going to refine their launch procedures, their fueling procedures. They're going to refine, they may have made some software changes to refine landing or control of the vehicle. Anything that they learned from the last hop, they'll apply to this one here. So there might be software changes. There could be launch procedure changes, all of that kind of stuff to just help them refine their operations with the Starship here. Is that detanking we see? Well, there was detanking and depressurization about 20 minutes ago. So yes, there was. I guess we're waiting to see if they're gonna recycle and try again. What is that smoke? So the smoke is that's basically condensing liquid oxygen. So it's liquid oxygen is super densified, super cold. As it warms up, it returns back to gaseous condition. You can also get condensation that forms as well, because the tanks that hold that liquid oxygen are very, very cold, and so you get that warm air that's got some moisture in it that condenses when it comes in contact with the really cold tanks. So it's generally condensation and venting from the actual liquid oxygen tanks there. Just going back through some of the comments here. When will they try to launch the vessel again? So we do not get official word from SpaceX on what's going to happen here. So all we can do is watch and kind of guess what may or may not be happening. So they fueled up the rocket, the grain silo. They fueled it up. They got to about the 10-minute mark, which is where there's a sheriff in town at Boca Chica that has to sound his siren. He basically just sets off the police car and drives around town. Woo, woo, woo. He drives around town like, hey, rocket going off, just to let the residents know in Boca Chica that that's happening. Because don't forget, Boca Chica is only like 2 miles away from this. They're so close to this rocket that not only do they sound the sirens, but when the residents hear that siren, they're supposed to leave their house and stand outside, because if there is some sort of kabooma, then that could blow their windows into their house. So you get flying glass and shrapnel and things like that from the pressure wave if there's a massive explosion. And so they're supposed to leave their house when they hear that siren and go outside. For us, the casual observer that's not actually there and doesn't have a house in Boca Chica, for us, that's the indication that, hey, something's going to happen in 10 minutes. So we kind of wait and watch out for that siren, and then we know something's going to happen in 10 minutes. We got the siren today. That siren happened at about 4:05 p.m. Eastern time, which was about 25 minutes ago. So, is that right? No, longer than that. 35 minutes ago. 35 minutes ago, we got the siren, indicating that they were going to do something 10 minutes from then. And then about 5 minutes later, we saw the big double vent. So up at the top of the rocket, right here, if you look above my head here, where my mouse cursor is, there's 2 vent ports here up at the top. There's one up here, and there's one down here. And after they start fueling the rocket, when both vent ports go at the same time, and they start venting the rocket, generally that's an indication of an abort, and they're trying to depressurize the tanks at that point. And we saw that about 5 minutes after the 10-minute warning siren. Tori doing Common Core math. Yeah, he's trying to live stream and do math at the same time. It's hard to do. So people are standing 35 minutes outside for nothing. Yeah, well, generally, so they would have the 10-minute warning, and then if nothing happens for 10 minutes, they could go back inside, because the sheriff will sound another 10-minute warning if it passes that initial 10 minutes. So at this point, we have to wait for another siren to happen. Why are we live? I don't know. Because I went live and I figured we ought to say hi and talk about this and answer some questions, and then you guys can at least see what's happening here. So, I mean, this is what we're looking at here. We're still waiting. We do have 2 more rocket launches today, even if this one doesn't go. We got Salcom 1B later today. There's an event on my channel for that. We've got the Electron rocket from Rocket Lab also going later tonight. Another event on my channel for that. So we've got a whole bunch of rocket activity for the day, for the rest of the day. So we should get, one of these should go off. We were supposed to have 4 today. Starlink was this morning. That got scrubbed. It's rescheduled to Tuesday. We got this one. It's gone 2 attempts. We haven't gotten anywhere yet. So hopefully we'll get somewhere soon. We got Salcom 1B. Hopefully that goes tonight, although weather's looking a little bit sketchy for Salcom 1B. And then we got Rocket Lab, which is later on. So we got 4 chances. Hopefully one of them will actually launch today. Let's see. Oh, look at that gigantic bird flying across. What is that, like a pelican or something? Pelican! What does NASA have to do with SpaceX development of Starship? I'm confused. From the basic standpoint, NASA has nothing to do with this. So this is SpaceX's vehicle. SpaceX is developing it. They're putting this together. This is SpaceX. This is not NASA. Now, I say from the basic sense because just a couple of months ago, NASA actually awarded SpaceX a contract to develop Starship as a lunar lander. Essentially what that means is NASA's like, hey, we like your Starship idea. Here's some money. Try to speed this up and make it work, please. So now SpaceX started this by themselves. They've been doing this for about a year and a half now. Probably it's more like 2 years that they've really been trying to put things together. They started, what was it, like December 2018 that they started with the Starhopper prototype that they started building. And it wasn't until just a couple months ago, so, a little over a year later, that NASA was like, this could be interesting. Will you take some of our money? Because we might want to use this at some point. So that's why I say in the basic sense this is SpaceX's, but NASA is now involved because they're giving them some money for this. Are they retrying? Why is the fuel farm going again? Well, yeah, so the fuel farm could be going for just venting and detanking. They could also be recycling and refueling. We don't really know. We don't know. When is SpaceX going to start building the Super Heavy rocket? So for those that are not familiar, the Super Heavy is the bottom portion of that rocket. Let's see if, does Neopork have a... You guys should go give Neopork a follow. At Neopork85 here on Twitter. But the Super Heavy is the first stage booster. The bottom portion of the rocket. Remember Starship, what we're watching right now is just the top part of the rocket. So, I don't know, does he have a full... Is this one a full... No, that's an article. We don't want that. I don't see... So... No. Yeah, I don't see one from Neopork, but yeah, remember, Starship, this is just the top part of the rocket. The bottom part, the first stage booster, is the Super Heavy booster. And that is what's going to give the Starship a ride to space. I should have just left Kerbal Space Program up. We could have just played along with this. Maybe I'll open this now here while we're hanging out. I'll show you some. I'll show it to you. Right? We'll do that. I'll show it to you while we're hanging out here. You can actually see. We'll do a simulation here. Oh, not right now. I'll let that load here while we answer some questions. But I'll show you. But anyways, the Super Heavy, they might be building some of it right now. But they're building a high bay for the Super Heavy booster, which is not completed yet. And really, they got to build the high bay before they can build up the bulk of the Super Heavy rocket, but it's getting very close to being completed. So, oh, I think, okay, I see, I see where the confusion is. TP Seeker. Let me finish on the Super Heavy booster. I'm going to answer the confusing question about the NASA thing in a second. So, the Super Heavy is the first stage booster. They're going to start that very soon. As soon as the high bay is completed, they'll start building that. So, and they want to try to do a hop test with that before the end of 2020. So, we'll see. That's a little bit, that could be Elon Musk time, Elon standard time, which usually means you got to add a couple months to it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Now, let me confuse. I didn't realize the confusion here, but this is, so you can see the NASA spaceflight logo down on the bottom. NASAspaceflight.com is not NASA. NASAspaceflight.com is they are a news reporting site, a news agency. So they have one of their field reporters, is that what we're gonna call her? But Mary, Boca Chica gal, who lives in Boca Chica Village down there, she's the one that's operating this camera. She does that work for NASAspaceflight.com. So NASAspaceflight.com, not affiliated with NASA. That just happens to be the name of their news organization. So that I see the confusion. I didn't understand the question about the affiliation between NASA and SpaceX, but now I got it. Now I see the confusion. Let's see. Is it scrubbed? It's aborted, but they're likely still going to try again. We've still got another 4 hours left in the window to try again. Hope that's not the wind moving the camera. Yeah, there's a little bit of wind, but remember, she's zoomed in quite a bit because she has to be outside the exclusion zone. You can see it a little bit here as well, but some of this is wind. So it's wind combined with the fact that you're on a super long zoom lens. So when you're on a super long zoom lens, you get the shaking is a lot more apparent when you're on a super long zoom lens like this, because any little movement is visible on the camera. So yeah, it's wind combined with the super long lens. You can also see, so it's very windy there right now. You can see it's also very hot. You're getting a little bit of heat distortion here. I think the heat index is like 109 degrees Fahrenheit right now. Somebody have to do the Celsius conversion for me, but heat index is like 109 degrees Fahrenheit. Weasel says, so this is a completely non-governmental operation. Yes. I hesitate because, again, NASA is actually giving them money to do this, but it was started by SpaceX. It's the majority of the funding came from SpaceX. They put this whole platform together before NASA even got involved. So, yes, it's a non-governmental operation. SpaceX is in control. They don't need to, like, NASA is not calling the shots here at all for developing this. SpaceX they're calling all the shots. They're making the decisions. And really NASA's like, here's some money. Show us what you got when you're done. So that's really their involvement. What gases are being invented? So, I mean, the main gases that you would see here would be liquid oxygen, methane, maybe some nitrogen. But we're likely seeing it. What we're likely seeing is liquid oxygen here. Wasn't it scrubbed? It was aborted. I wouldn't call it scrubbed. So generally, scrub would mean that it's not happening today. It was aborted. meaning they had an attempt that was going to happen about 35 minutes ago, but they aborted that attempt, and we're waiting to see if they recycle and try again. How far out of town is this? What direction? That's a good question here. Let's pull up the map so you guys can get an idea, because we talked about Boca Chica and where Mary is. I don't exactly know where Mary is stationed, but let's give you a... Let me pull up the map and we'll give you a view on where this is. Okay, here we go. Here's the map of where we are. This is SpaceX's launch facility right here. You can kind of see it's an old satellite view, so we can't see it, but this is their main facility here. This is where they're building the rocket. This is where the rocket, when we look at this view right here, this is right here at the launch facility. Over here, this is the landing pad facility next to it. So, and the camera angle that we're getting is from like here. So we're getting a camera angle from about here over to here, like this. So it's about, what does that say? 1.5 miles. It's not very far. 1.5 miles from the village to the launch facility, to the landing pad, just a little bit further, 1.62 miles. So that's roughly, and that's just the edge of the village there. You got SpaceX's tracking stations are being built, or are already built right here. But this is the village of Boca Chica, which is just a small village here. And generally they set up a roadblock right here, so that you can't go down this road. And when it's time to launch, the sheriff will sound his sirens and will just go woo, 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 around the, basically it's one street. They just have to go woo, right down the street. Just be like, yo, you can probably get somebody that just stands at the end of the street and be like, yo, everybody come out. We're about to do something. It's not a big village. So that's Boca Chica Village right there. It's not very far away. Here's the SpaceX Launch Control Center that they're building. But that's the geography of what we're looking at. And if we can zoom out even more so you can see roughly where it is in Texas. So here's Texas. You see the big state of Texas. It's way down here at the very tip, almost at the Mexican border here. So here's the Mexican border right here. Here's the launch facility. Can you even, yeah. Here's the border. Here's the launch facility. It's way down there. It's very, 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 very close to the border. Why is it shaking? Yep, very windy down there. We're also zoomed in quite a bit. I was just about to read a question and then my chat skipped. When do we start? Well, we had an attempt. Right now, we're kind of just waiting to see what happens. We got 4 hours left in the launch window. I don't think we're going to be live for the whole 4 hours, but we're going to hang out here for a minute, answer some questions. Has it flown already? Nope, you didn't miss anything yet. We don't know when the next attempt is going to be. SpaceX does not publish any of this information, so all we have to do is watch the rocket and see. So we know that we're no closer than 30 minutes away from a launch right now, because we would see much more venting from the rocket. You can't, if I move myself, let's see, where could I move myself? No, let's move myself here. You would see a lot more venting on the rocket here if we were getting close to a hop attempt. So we've got at least 30 minutes, but could be longer. We have no idea. Here's a good question. Can ordinary people come and see this launch? Yes, you can. And this is one of the things I was talking with our Discord people and our Patreons with earlier today on our Kerbal live stream. It was a secret live stream. You got to join the Patreon if you want to get that bonus content and come on our secret Kerbal Space Program streams. Anyways, we were talking about this earlier today, and this development can be seen by anybody that's in the area. So if you want to see this happen, like you could take a plane to Brownsville, Texas, drive over to Boca Chica, and watch this happen. Like, they close the road 1.5 miles away, but you're gonna see it from 1.5 miles for sure. So you can definitely see this if you're in the area. Tony on Facebook, I joined this late. Is this a longer hop than the last one? It's almost exactly the same as the last hop. It's 150 meters up again, it's about 500 feet. It'll go over, and by over I mean away from the camera angle. So it's actually it's going horizontal, but it's going to look like it goes straight up and straight back down because it's actually going away from the camera. And while I'm listening in here, we're getting some venting.
Sort of a jet noise sounding thing there.
So that's, you can see some
relieving the pressure once again.
So you can see some venting here that's happening. That's what we were listening to. There's some more venting you can see right here. Why are we not in HD? Let's do this in HD here. So it looks like we're doing kind of a depressurization vent again. That's kind of interesting. So it looked like maybe they recycled, they started filling it again, and now it looks like they're doing another depressurization vent. All right, let's see. So what did we say? What were we talking? Oh, we were answering Tony's question there. Joined late. Is this a longer hop than the last one? So same hop, 150 meters or about 500 feet up over landing again. It's a different launch vehicle. This is serial number 6 or SN6. Last time we did SN5. So different vehicle. The changes that you would likely have could be software changes, things that they learned from the last launch. There could be changes to the launch procedure, to the fueling procedure. There could be structural changes to the vehicle itself or to the landing legs, you know, any of that kind of stuff. Could be changes to the launch pad. We saw the launch pad kind of fell apart on the last one, and it broke all up. We saw the debris flying all over the place, you know, shrapnel going everywhere. That was actually pieces of the launch stand that were going everywhere. So they could have maybe refined that a little bit. So a lot of those things, this is just part of the development that they have to do to move to the next step. So it's it might seem like baby steps, but everything's going to be necessary to get to that orbital version. And the next big one that we'll get is SN8, which will have the aerodynamic surfaces, the nose cone, the little fins up in the top and the bottom. Those will be on SN8, and that's going to go to 20 kilometers. That'll be a big one. 20 kilometers, that's very high. Not 150 meters, so that's going to be the next big one. Are those canisters in the background also launchable vehicles? No, those are not launch vehicles. This is the tank farm that they have. That's where they're storing gases, I believe. I don't know what's in the vertical tanks there. Well, you might have some, I don't know. I'd have to see a different angle there, but no, they're not all, I don't think any of these are launch vehicles. Because the actual build site is going to be down the road. This is just the launch site here. I'm pretty sure those are just for, somebody have to correct me, but I think those are just for fuel. You dated yourself, starry-eyed Earthman? How did I date myself? Does the launch pad need water to cool it down? I don't think, I can't remember if they have a water deluge system. I don't think there is much of a water... Well, there's definitely not a big water deluge system. There might be a small deluge water suppression system. I think there was a small water suppression system, if I recall correctly. But when they go to the big launch pad, I mean, they're going to need water suppression at some point. But for this, I don't think they really have... I don't think they have much. Framrick says just a fire hose, quite small. Yeah, I thought there was something there that was relatively small. I want more Raptors tied to that thing. 3, I think, is the final design. Is that correct? Oh, well, the Starship will have 6 engines total. I forgot about... Let's go up here. Let's get the Kerbal going. We'll simulate this since nothing's happening. Let's see. We just call this a live sandbox. Blah blah blah. Start it. Since we don't have a launch happening, at least at the moment, let's simulate it so you can see what we're going on here. Because I actually have a Starship. I got a Starship that we can simulate here. In the meantime. You just have to let me know in the chat if something's happening that I need to go back to. Let's show you what this is going to look like so you can see, because I have a Starship, or did I build that in the other one? Might have to rebuild it again. Super heavy lander, no, that's not what we want. All right, let's build it real quick. So, we need, our capsule's gonna be this guy. Here's our capsule. So this is like the nose cone that we're missing right now on the Starship. We need our fuel tanks. Let's see, where's our fuel tank for... This one, MK4 engine shroud. Yep, that's what we want there. Is this it? I can't. There we go. Zoom out a little bit. Let's build. So remember, this is just the top section here. So front left actuating wing goes there. Front right goes there. Rear left. No, that's the wrong one. There. And we'll put this one here like this. Then we need some engines. So remember, this is just the second stage. We're gonna throw some engines in. I think that's what this question was originally. So for the engines, we've got 3 regular Raptor engines that are gonna look like that on the bottom there. And then there will also be 3 vacuum optimized engines that will be on the outside that'll look like that. So those would be your vacuum engines. So let's change the staging here. So like that. So essentially, let's see, we'll call this Starship. We'll just call it Starship SN6. Why not? Let's launch it. Okay. The lobster looks like a cockroach. That's our space lobster. The space lobster, come on. If you're in the YouTube chat, you can type !space lobster and get on the inner circle. Or join our Discord and ask somebody what the space lobster is. They'll tell you. They'll tell you what's happening. All right, so we don't really have a landing pad, so let's see if we can do this. We should have done it with 1 engine so we could really make it just like the actual launch, because that's another thing that's kind of complicated, is that this flight that we're going to have today is only has 1 engine, and because it's designed for 3, that 1 engine has to be slightly offset. So it's not just directly thrusting up the center of the rocket, it's slightly offset, and they actually have to gimbal the engine to correct for that a little bit. All right, let's see. All right, so here we go. This is this might not be successful, just FYI. But here we go. We're gonna try it. See if we can go up. Oh, we're not going anywhere. Oh, there we go. All right. So it's launching. We'll get, oops, wrong direction. Wrong direction. Wrong direction. This way. This way. This way. Oh, we're already in bad shape. Okay. Okay. All right. Here, cut the engines. We're going to go retrograde. Retrograde. Landing gear out. Uh-oh. 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 We're going to crash. There. Just like that. Oh, no. It's going to fall over. So, that's roughly the idea of what we're doing today. Hopefully it goes a little better than that, but that's roughly the idea. We should do that again. Hold on. Let's do that again. We can do better than that. I gotta remember which direction we're going. I hope the hop will take place anytime. You broke it. Yeah, hold on. Let's do that again. Let's see. Close. We're gonna close the docking port though. Get rid of that. We don't need that open. Okay. Okay. Here we go. We're gonna go. Which way do we need to? We need to pitch towards the north. Okay. So we're gonna go up, and we're gonna pitch north, just like that. Just a little bit. Just a little. I said. Oh, watch out for the flag. Watch out for the flag. Oh, easy, easy. Okay. Just like that. Look at us go. We're 130 meters. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. No, cut the engines. Oh, no, oh, no. Okay, well. Oh, it was all going so well, too. It was going so well. So it's gonna look something like that. That's the idea. We haven't gotten there yet. But, yeah. That's the rough idea on how this is gonna work here today. And let's go back to, don't let Tori fly. Yeah, you don't want me in control of this, that's for sure. Okay, so that's what we're doing here today. And then they're gonna go higher, but we're gonna show you. Let's see, hold on, close the docking port, the docking hatch there. Let's get. We need. Probe core? No, we don't want that. We need... Well, I need this fuel tank, but I need some sort of separator of some sort. Is this what we want? Maybe that. And then we need that. We're going to show you what this is going to look like here in the end here. And then we'll throw the engines. Now remember, look at all the engines on the Super Heavy here. It's a lot of engines. I can't get in there. Oh, it's too much. Look at all the engines in there. There, you can see them all. It's supposed to be 30 plus engines on that guy. And it'll have grid fins and things like that as well. I'm not gonna put grid fins on for now, but all right, let's get. Which ones are... Okay, that's the Super Heavy. Put this down here, like that. Put this down here, like that. We'll put those together, like that. All right. Starship. Full. Save. Launch it. All right. Here's what it's going to look like in the end. Here we go. Let's see if we can do a little better on this. And yeah, it is already outdated. The model that I have right now, somebody pointed out, it's already outdated because it was originally going to have these 6 fins at the bottom, and Elon said the other day that it's going to go down to 4 fins at the bottom so that the exhaust doesn't doesn't impinge on the fins, I guess is what he said. I'm presumably those fins came down below. They come down below the engines. So that's what he put that out on Twitter. Not a ton of details there, but okay, here we go. Let's see if we can do better in this one. Okay, so this is our Starship. This is Starship and Super Heavy together. That's the first and the second stage there. It's gonna look something like this. Let's get a little roll program in. Roll it this way. We'll go in a heads down position because we're gonna go east. Uh-oh. There we go. Oh, okay. All right, there we go. So we're pitching over, and we're going east. We kind of pitched over a little early. A little too early there. That's okay. That's all right. We'll be all right. It's okay. Things are fine. Why didn't that work the last time? Well, I was trying to land it the last time. I was trying to go up and land it. That was somewhat intentional. Oh, uh-oh. Get rid of this. Close the editor. I don't want that. All right, here we go. Now we're going to pitch over even more. Passing through max Q. Look at that. Look at that engine exhaust spread out like that. Doesn't that look gorgeous? All right, we're gonna get her in. We're gonna get her in orbit here now. Now we're getting somewhere. Oh, we're getting some heating. Better throttle down, so we don't burn up here. We're going a little fast. All right, well, the heck with it. We'll just keep going. Throttle back up. We're still going. We're still heating up a little bit, but it's okay. All right, now watch this. So we've hit our apogee at... Our apogee is about 80 kilometers. I'm actually going to pitch downward now to bring up our periapsis, our perigee, and keep our apogee from climbing too high. It's gonna seem kind of counterintuitive. All right, there we go. It's going to seem kind of counterintuitive, but remember, we're steering and we're imparting velocity in the future. Meaning, like, there you go. You can kind of see, here's our... Why do I have two ships out there? Oh, we've got the first and the second stage. So look at this. Here, we can switch back to... Can I switch to this thing? I don't think I can switch to that. We're almost in orbit. We're not quite in orbit. We would be, you can see our orbital path is right here, around the gray path here, and then the red section is actually, we're re-entering here. So we're actually going to make one full trip around. Ah, why don't we land it again? We'll go land it back at the launch site. We'll just make one lap around. What program is this? This is called Kerbal Space Program. It's pretty awesome. It's a very inexpensive game. But if you don't know a lot about orbital mechanics, this is a great way to learn because it's very eye-opening how orbital mechanics actually works and how much that, if you're not familiar, that you probably don't understand. All right, so we're gonna fast forward here in the game simulation so that we can get around the planet. Oh, it's not gonna let me not gonna let me fast forward that far or that fast. What are we at? What's our altitude? 75. Oh, there we go. Now it'll let me go fast. I just had to gain a little more altitude. So there's our first stage, crashing back to Earth. We're gonna make a lap around and we're gonna re-enter right here. Let's see. All right, so we're already re-entering. Let's see if we can re-enter it successfully. Let's deploy. We'll deploy our flaps. Deploy that. Deploy these. Really should create like an action group for this so I don't have to click around so much. All right, so there we go. So then we're going to point radial out. So this is basically how the Starship is going to come back in and land. And if you like these kind of explanation animations, you should join us on our Patreon, because we've been playing this pretty frequently lately. This is the quick version. You guys are all I see that you guys are trying to fool me and say that I missed the launch. You don't realize that I'm listening to the stream in my ear so I can hear what's happening. All right, here we go. So we're re-entering here now. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna have enough to make it to land, but we'll try. We're gonna get some heating, so you can see it's already heating a little bit. I won't be impressed until you land the first stage on the drone ship. I know, right? Alex wants to know what time's the actual launch. Nobody knows, Alex. We're trying to... We just have to wait and see if they're going to recycle. So in the meantime, we're going to show you what the re-entry is going to kind of look like. I don't know if... I don't think I'm going to have enough speed to make it to land here. Maybe I will. But look at... Here's my landing spot, this red X. And it's slowly moving closer and closer. So here we are in re-entry. Coming in, and it's going to re-enter like this. So here's all your heat tiles, like that. And it's going to face directly into... Oh, we're spinning. Oh no, we're spinning. What happened? Oh no. Hold us steady. Whoa. We're spinning a little bit. Easy, right there. Okay, I think I got control. I got it. I pulled it back together. All right, now we're into the real stuff here. There it goes. We're coming in hot. Look at here's our landing spot. Coming in. I don't know if we're gonna have enough to make it to land, but it's gonna come in belly first like this when it lands. Do you think Starship will spin like that? No, it shouldn't. That's just me being a poor pilot. So, we're in atmosphere now. You can see right up here's our atmosphere indicator. Somebody said, why? There's no atmosphere. There's a little bit of atmosphere. So we're scrubbing off some speed here. You can actually, here's our speed indicator. You can see the speed getting lower and lower. We're coming in at a very shallow angle. I'm kind of hoping that it has enough speed to make it to land. Like this is our landing spot. It's coming closer and closer. I don't want to land in the water. I want to land on land. But we may not have a choice, but we're coming back in. Looks kind of cool. Ooh, our heat is building up. Look at, we're almost at the max heat. Even with the heat shield. We're heating up. Are we gonna we're gonna be landing in the mountains. Oh no. Oh no. We're landing in the mountains. That's not gonna be good. Okay, well, we might have an ocean landing. Let's see. Let's see how this looks. We're still coming in. We're still at 27 kilometers in altitude. We're doing 2,000 meters per second. We're coming in hot. Hey, land ho! We can see the land. We're not gonna make it though. We're gonna be a little bit short. Can I fire the engines? Will it? I wonder what happens if I fire the engines up like this. Oh, look it. Yeah, it is extending it's extending me out. That's exactly what I wanted. I want to land out here. So we're correcting. We're going to land out here where it's a little flatter. There we go. That's better. Okay. So we corrected. There. We're still scrubbing in. scrubbing off that speed. We're actually, I think we're going up now, technically. Yeah, we're going up again. Here's our apogee. So we're actually climbing again. We're at 30 kilometers. We're climbing to 37 kilometers. All right, here we go. We're coming in. So this will probably be, let's see if we can land it. Yeah, the big impact crater you can see there. Look at that. Right there. Kind of cool. We're going over that now. Don't forget the landing legs. All right, we're going to land this, and then we'll wrap up. Then we'll wrap up the stream, because it doesn't sound like they're going to have a hop attempt, at least anytime soon. But, in case I forget to tell you later, we're going to be back again for Salcom 1B later tonight. That's only in like 2 hours from now. And it sounds like some NASA space flights signing off as well here. Well, actually, here, because they're signing off, I can mute them. And I'll turn up Kerbal Space Program so you can hear it. You can hear the re-entry now. This is a long re-entry. As soon as we get out of this heating phase, then we're gonna go retrograde. But we got a lot of speed to scrub off here. We're landing out here. We're getting there. Let's see, we need our landing panel here so we can see what our altitude. I'll put it up here so you guys can see it too. Oh, now we're coming in hot. You can hear it screeching. We're still coming in at 1,500 meters per second. It's kind of quick. So it's a little bit fast. So it's going to do something like this. It will eventually. I don't know if we can do it. I'm not sure if I dare. But so it's going to come in belly first like this and just plow into the atmosphere. Once it scrubs off all the horizontal speed, it'll actually turn and go belly first and fall this way, or go nose first and fall towards the atmosphere, or towards the ground. I don't think I'm skilled enough to do that in the game, though. Oh, boy. Oh, I don't know if we're going to have enough time to... Here we go. Better burn the engines. Oh, we're going to be out of time. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. We're going to crash. It's too late. It's going to crash. We were going too fast. We were going just a teensy bit. Just the crew's fine though. They're okay. It was going just a little too fast. Just a little bit. F in the chat for our Kerbal. Our Kerbals are okay. F in the chat for the Starship rocket. Nailed it. Just like they do in the pros. Get rid of this. We don't need that right now. Okay. Just keep your seatbelts buckled until the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign, and then you'll be able to get off. All right. Well, it doesn't look like we're going to have our hop attempt today, which is unfortunate. We, at least not right now. Maybe they try again later. They still got another 3.5 hours. But I'm going to end it right here. I'm going to continue on. I'm going back to my Patreon stream, and I'm going to try to dock my starships together. So if you haven't joined our Patreon yet... Uh-oh. There we go. I don't know what just happened to my... All of a sudden, I got a whole bunch of red warnings on my live stream that we were... the live stream wasn't... We were dropping frames like crazy. Anyways, all right, I guess I'm going to end it right here. Hopefully I'll see you in about 2 hours. I don't know what happened to my stream. It just dropped for a second, but hopefully I'll see you in about 2 hours for Salcom 1B. Man, I don't know what happened. I don't know why it buffered so bad. Okay, well I better end it while I'm ahead. I'm ending it now. See you in our Discord or on Patreon, and then we'll be back in 2 hours for Salcom 1B. Historic launch, Salcom 1B. It's a big one to come watch, so come back in about 2 hours. All right, we'll see you then. Goodbye.